Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Fran Stoddard. A new school year brings new routines, new experiences, and new opportunities to learn, new opportunities for both students and teachers. At the University of Vermont, approximately 60 new faculty members began their jobs at the start of the semester. And one of the first things they learned was a little bit more about their new home state of Vermont, courtesy of UVM Extension. Joining us this afternoon is the Director of Extension, Roy Beckford. Under Roy's leadership, Extension offered a tour to faculty who were just joining the university. Roy, good afternoon, and thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Good afternoon, Will, and thank you.
So in just a moment, we're going to share a video about the tour, but it certainly sounds like this was a great way to welcome folks to their new home. In your words, what's the tour all about?
Well, first of all, there could never have been a better way to introduce our faculty, new faculty to UVM. The tour was all about connecting our new faculty, not just to parts of the university with which very often people are not familiar, Extension, but through the work of Extension, kind of familiarize our new faculty with what's happening around the state, what UVM is doing out there through the efforts of Extension personnel and practitioners.
So where did you go? Where did you take these folks?
So the tour stopped this year at 4 farms or agribusinesses. We went first to Champlain Valley Hops in Starksburg. Then we went to Filler Ridge in Charlotte, where lunch was also served. But at every stop, people munched and tasted and just fed on the natural flavors of Vermont. The third stop was Conant's Farms by the river, or Riverside Farms, and this is in Richmond. And then finally, we had our final stop for the day at the Intervale in Burlington. So it was a really nice mix of farm agribusinesses that kind of exposed our folks and had them just, really raving and happy to go to the next place.
Well, again, we're going to gauge some of that reaction in a moment, but just one quick question before we get to the video. You've done this, or Extension has done this in previous years. It hasn't been done for a couple of years because of the pandemic. You not only had new faculty, you had some others who came to UVM a year or two ago. Is that right?
Absolutely. So what we wanted to do was to kind of end the hiatus. I mean, there's a couple of years where we could not do this tour for obvious reasons. There's a pandemic, and it was difficult to pack people on a bus during that period. So we wanted to kind of reintroduce ourselves. I have never done this tour before. I started last year, so essentially I was new. And so there are many others who started last year and the year before, who we wanted to put on this bus and make sure that they not only interacted with themselves, but to the new people who were starting this year. And it was all in all a really good way of connecting people, connecting faculty, and connecting everybody to Extension and to the work around the state that we're doing.
Well, let's take a moment to meet some of these newest members of the UVM community. And here's an opportunity to learn about their introduction to Vermont. We joined Keith Silva, who spoke with some of those on the tour.
All of my colleagues said you have to go on this tour. It's wonderful.
Denise Hersey is the director of the UVM Dana Medical Library. Today, she's exchanged the quiet of the reading room for the sights, sounds, and smells of Vermont's working landscape as a participant on UVM Extension's new UVM faculty tour.
This very vigorous and tall perennial buffer of elderberries.
I've heard about Extension, but I still didn't really understand it. And this tour became available, and I actually wasn't going to. I had meetings on my calendar, and finally I thought, okay, I can move these. So I moved them out of the way, and I came, and it's been really, really wonderful.
Getting to know Vermont beyond the confines of the UVM campus is the goal of tour organizer and extension director Roy Beckford.
I wanted an opportunity to get to meet our new faculty and to get them to understand what it is that Extension does on a daily basis and the kinds of clientele and other resources that Extension interface with on a regular basis. It's important because Extension is an integral part of the land grant system. And many people actually work in land grant universities without being aware of this. And we wanted to make sure that we show this association in a very significant way.
We basically chop the haylage up.
Alexander Yin leads UVM's Office of Institutional Research and Assessment. He came on the tour to get to know his new home.
We have to understand that we're not in vacuums and silos anymore. We're an ecosystem of together in a community.
With about 830 head.
Yin got to hear from father and son, Dave and Ransom Conant, about their dairy farm in Richmond and how the practices they use on their fields protect and improve water quality in Vermont.
People want to hear their stories. And you can see that tangible impact, whereas sometimes when you're here in just Chittenden County or if you're in Burlington, it is a bubble. And you don't get to see like how your food gets to your plate and the impact it has on the communities, the people that are actually raising the farm.
Hersey believes taking part in this tour will help her work in the Dana Medical Library better align with the land grant mission of the University of Vermont to bring the knowledge of the university to the people of Vermont.
We are the flagship state school. We're a public school. We're a land grant college. So we have a responsibility to cooperate with those around us in the community and to work with them to develop best practices that are going to impact positively our population, but also our economy and our environment. And what I've learned from those who are working on these farms here today is that they're all very conscientious about that. And now I have a better understanding of how UVM has really been supporting their work, and that's what's really impressive.
We connect the state to the university, and we connect the university back to the state. The idea of Extension came out of the expectation that there would be research generated at the university. And the other part of this is that it's not just our students at UVM who are the beneficiaries of education. It is everybody, all the stakeholders, everyone else in the state of Vermont who are actually the recipients and the beneficiaries of the research work and the academic work that comes out of this university. That's the model that the land grant is based on.
An event like this can seem quaint and touristy. Beckford hopes touring farms and agricultural businesses will serve as a call to action for the attendees.
Formal education happens at the university. Non-formal education happens outside the university campus through Extension. And we're not diluting that information. We're just taking it down to the level of the layman. That's really what Extension is. We're the translator of the science and the technology. We make that active in the lives and the livelihoods of everybody out there. They're walking, they're smelling, they're touching, and they're tasting, all of the above. And so it might look like a fancy touristy thing. Really, it is not. It is education actually packaged in a way to meet the needs of people who are coming to UVM, who you want to have an understanding of really what Extension and the Land Grant University stands for.
I'm here with other librarians, and as we've been touring different facilities, we've talked about, are there ways for us to explore working with some of these farms? I know that work has been done with some of the migrant farmers in the community, so there might be opportunities to see what we can do. And if nothing else, just knowing about Extension when we interact with students and faculty and visitors. We're going to be doing lots of hiring this year, and as we do that, we will definitely say you have to go on this tour, and we'll definitely encourage people to just come visit these farms and these environments as new citizens of the state.
Yeah.
The UVM new faculty bus tour goes outside the university to provide an insider's view of Vermont. In Richmond, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
And if you're just joining us, I'm visiting with the director of UVM Extension, Roy Beckford. Roy, my follow-up to the video from Keith is, did this tour accomplish what you hoped it would? Did it raise awareness of research? Did it talk about the land-grant mission? Did it do the things you wanted it to do?
Absolutely. We had a number of librarians, for example, on the tour. And did you hear what they said, what the medical library personnel said? We want to make sure that people know about Extension and that we connect folks back to communities. And one way to actually do that is to kind of educate them about the work that Extension is doing in the state. And the reviews were wonderful. I mean, I was just pleased with what I saw.
Well, let me transition that Extension has just hired a new faculty member. You've brought veteran Vermont forester Alexandra Kasiba on board. What will her primary responsibilities be to Vermonters?
Before I answer that, Will, I mean, we have not hired faculty in Extension since 2014, so this is a big deal. And to hire a forestry faculty is even a bigger deal. Forest lands in Vermont amount to about 75% of the landscape, of the total landscape. And if you think about forests, it's a breathing, living apparatus, a biological agent that just benefits everybody who lives in the state. So Dr. Kasiba is actually here to advance the development and implementation of education outreach that essentially enhances recognition and sustainable management of these forest ecosystems, which are critical to wildlife, to the economy, to the social well-being of people, and providing ecosystem services. And she'll intersperse that with the kind of applied research that then helps to enhance her educational outreach efforts. So quite a bit of work she'll be doing.
Roy, I need to stop us there as we're just about out of time, but I want to share with our viewers that if they have a question or comment that I know you'd appreciate hearing from them. So you may contact Roy at the Extension State Office. The toll-free number is 1-866-622-2990. It's on your screen. You can also reach Roy by email. You can write to him at extension@uvm.edu. Roy, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate you being with us and some interesting insights as you kick off a new semester and we roll into fall. Thank you for being with us.
And thank you, Will, and thanks to Across the Fence.
That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.